What's up guys, SaneTree here and welcome back to Ileuad. Unfortunately, we are still back in 1.13 because there are some issues with upgrading worlds to the new update, and I decided to wait a bit until those issues are resolved and I can safely update this world without any problems. But you may notice that things are looking a little bit different, and that is because I have my Seasons texture pack on. If you're unaware, it is a brand new series of mine where I tried to recreate seasons in vanilla Minecraft. The resource pack is obviously a huge part of that, because without it I would not be able to have a somehow believable autumn impression. I really think this birch forest turned out great, and if you like it, we might play with the texture pack on for some time here in Ileuad. So in the upper right corner there is a poll, you can click on it and vote what would you prefer. But apart from that, we are also in a different part of the city today. We are in the harbour district, and to be precise, we are on the island that is the furthest point of the entire city going out to the sea. We are here today because I want to build a lighthouse, because every good coastal city needs a lighthouse, because otherwise, well, the ships would just sail, I don't know, there and crash into the land, and that's not really a good thing. So, we need a lighthouse. I need to come up with a good shape for it. I think I want it to be very old. Like, this will be one of these builds from the very first era of the city. So when the first settlers came in and founded this place, they built a lighthouse, a castle there, and the walls and other cool stuff. So I think a lot of stone will be in play, but as it's always, I don't really know what blocks I'm gonna use until I finish building, so let's cut the talking and jump straight to action. The first step wasn't actually the lighthouse itself, but rather the base of it. I wanted to sit on a rock like that, because when you think lighthouse, at least that's the case for me, I always have this picture of like a stranded island in the middle of a sea, you know, with a storm around it and the waves crashing on this rock and going nearly to the top, where a sad old man with a beard lights the thing. That's just how I envision a lighthouse, so we obviously can't recreate the waves, but the rock is something we can totally do, and that is what I did. And I'm just ever swapping the blocks around, making sure the rock looks as good as it can look, as natural as I can do it. And obviously it's far from finished. It will have all the detailed blocks, all the stones we can find in the creative menu. Well, maybe not, but we will work on that as we go. But now let's continue with our lighthouse itself. I think I have settled on the shape and the height of the lighthouse. It obviously won't end here, it will go up a few blocks. We have to build the whole device that will cast the light and the roof above this level. This is just where the tower part will end. And the shape is nothing really special, it's just a simple circle, and the lowest level is nicely like embedded in the stone. And if you do such a thing, then remember to always take those lines, take those blocks to the place where they meet with the outer layer. I mean, when you do that, it creates the impression that the foundation of the building are somehow set in stone, like they are under the ground. The building just looks better set in the ground. I don't know if that's correct way to phrase it, but I think you know what I mean. Just if we had like stone here, yeah, that doesn't look as great because now the foundation's just cut in the middle of the rock. When we have something like that, it looks miles better. While working on that shape, I also got an idea where to take this building further. I think I've come up with a cool backstory for this thing. So, let's say that this lighthouse, as I talked in the beginning, this lighthouse was built a long time ago in the first era of the city, but then the golden age of the city passed, and as happened with the center of the city, buildings start to fall apart, and so did this lighthouse. But the citizens needed it to keep their harbor working, so what they did was keep it more or less in a good shape. And finally, when things started to improve, the city owners decided that they want to renovate the whole building. So they built a whole new top on the old base because they didn't want to build a new lighthouse from scratch because there was one standing already. It wasn't in the best shape, but some parts of it could still be reused, and that's what they did. And that is why the building will look like that. It will have this stone bottom going more or less to that level, and then the top will be brand new in the style of the hotel and the city hall. So I think that could look very cool when it's finished. But first, obviously, I need to actually build it and not fly around it and talk some crap.
Your tower looks like a giant ugly stone spyglass. You want to fix it? It's as simple as that. Take these 3 easy steps and your build will look like it was designed by Michelangelo himself. Look closely at your tower. See something wrong? No? Look at these horizontal lines dividing each segment. That is why your build looks like a spyglass. Get rid of them. The best way to do it is to place some blocks randomly so there are no lines. But remember, don't overdo it. And that is a proper connection. Look how much better it is. But it still could look even more impressive. Look closely at your build again. What could be improved here? These edges could use some smoothing out, couldn't they? Take some stairs and slabs and swap some of those top blocks to them. Remember to place the stairs in different orientations. And take a look at what you've built. It's great, isn't it? But what if I told you there is even more improvements to do? What you want to do is vary the textures. Mix up the blocks your tower is made of. But wait, what are you doing? Not like that. You need to take blocks with a similar texture to the ones you've used. Here it would be the stone ones. That is exactly what I'm talking about. You may even place some stairs in them to make your walls less flat. And before you can say subscribe, your build is done. That is one mighty impressive tower. Was it tough? It wasn't at all, right? Building is so simple when you know what you are doing. For more tips, call us at 1-821-370 or send us a letter. Be brave with your designs and hope to see you in the next 3 steps from building hell. Pat Kowalski is signing off!
Disclaimer, the number isn't actually a real number. SaneTree Television Studios is not responsible for any cost of trying to call it. Also, don't send us letters. We don't read them anyway. 3 steps from building hell is covered by SaneTree Television Studios, and any copying and purpose of third hand distribution is not allowed and will be prosecuted.
So, our tower is now done. And I also did the island below it, and I'm not gonna pretend it's not inspired by Good Times with Scar. And it really turned out great, but that is to be expected when you're following someone who clearly knows what he's doing. If it didn't turn out great, that would mean I did something seriously wrong. So yeah. I also did this little path here, going up the hill from this little bridge type thingy. I don't know, maybe let's call it a bridge. So you know, you can now swim by boat to this island and work as a lighthouse man. I don't know. Maybe lighthouse man works in a lighthouse, whatever. But now, as I said, the only part left to do is the top, and it will be the most challenging one, so I hope I can get this right. I have some idea how I want to do this, but if I can actually execute it, let's see. The lighthouse is almost done. I built the top part, and to that level right here, it's great. I really like how it turned out. I went for a design very similar to the down hall. I mean, I used the same kind of blocks and these like very starry, slabby style. But the roof is not really amazing. I mean, it's not that bad, but I think I can do better, so we will rebuild that in a moment. I also added some windows in the tower part, and that is it now completed. So from the bottom up to this level, it's all done. Now it's only a matter of finding a better design for the roof. And there it is, the lighthouse is complete. Quite a lot has changed with the top part. Mainly, there are no bricks anymore in it. I decided to get rid of them because I couldn't make the sandstone work with them together, and I really wanted to use it for these outlines on the roof. So I decided just to swap every brick for a sandstone block, and that is looking much better. You may see some interesting details in the top part of the building, and I did them using the debug stick. If you don't know, it's a tool that allows you to change block states when you're in creative mode. You can't use that in survival. And since we are building in creative, I decided to use that to create these additional details that we wouldn't be able to do in vanilla survival. Mainly, it's the stairs that are placed in a way that wouldn't be possible normally without this tool, and because of that I could create like these two bars here. I just made the whole structure a bit lighter because of that. It's not that bulky. If I were to place all the stairs normally here, it would be just one massive block of sandstone, and in this way I could create these very small kind of pockets that where the dark oak wood can poke through. So yeah, that helped this build quite a lot actually. And also with these frames of the mirrors here, because that glass here pretends to be the mirrors or whatever it is in the lighthouse that the light goes through to the outside world, and they pretend to be like the pillars that hold these windows, these panes in place. And to make that somehow more believable, I changed the state of these fence posts here, so now they are like extending their little arms to the side, and yeah, it looks quite nice. It isn't as flat as it was before when we had just a pillar going up. Overall, I'm really happy how it all came out. And you can clearly see what I was talking about in the beginning. We have this division between the old part of the tower and the new one that was built because the old top just fell apart. So that's gonna be it for today's episode. If you liked it, then don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to see more of me building stuff, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. And remember, there is no such thing as bad creativity. See you next time!